Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So welcome everybody to our the last and sixth seminar in our series for International Coaching Week. Happy Saturday, everyone. We are so excited to see you on a Saturday. Really, we've been overwhelmed by the turnout and the feedback that we've been getting with this series. So please keep up the engagement today and participation. Your involvement is what makes it really special for us. Before we go on to the actual keynote, I'm going to just cover the housekeeping. So we are recording this keynote. There'll be Q&A discussions afterwards where we do want you to participate openly. So if you have a question that is sensitive, please let us know by email and we'll respond after the event and privately. We'll be sharing the recording afterwards. Again, I apologize because our system sent out some automated messages. I'm going to be sending one email out to you with all of our recordings on the single email. So please look out for that today. In the chat will be our feedback forms. So we really want to know how we can improve. If you've got any ideas for topics and themes you'd like us to cover in future webinars. I think as a team, we've decided that due to the overwhelming demand, we're going to be doing more of these throughout the year. So please let us know what you'd like us to cover for you. We are offering the certification of attendance to those that attend all 6 sessions. So that we can match you on your registration, please make sure your name in the meeting matches your ICF membership name, and it's the same name that you want on your certificate. Throughout the presentation, if you can post your questions in the chat, and we'll run the Q&A at the end of the talk. I'll be sharing the slides towards the end as well, once we've gone through the content part, and I'll be selecting which the most relevant content from the questions that relate to our content, and be putting them to the team and Dr. Costas. This Human Aspects in Coaching mini course provides thematic insights to our NLP Essentials course, which is being delivered for the first time in English online in June. By scanning the QR code, you can go to the online listings and learn more. I'll also send the link. We may go over the hour, so you're very welcome to stay or go, and I'll post up or let you know when it's that time. So a little bit about us. Purposeful Innovators is a non-profit social enterprise registered in the UK under Companies House. We're a membership of professionals across all fields who have dedicated their life to human and social development, the environment, and sustainable finance. We're governed by a voluntary global board of 7 directors and have 80+ pioneer members who are working towards a common mission, which is to revolutionize how the world works. Our motto is no compromise to planet, to people, and to profit. Our work falls within the 5 channels or pillars of education, social and community projects, ESG consultancy, research, and environmental partnerships. My name is Rania Laing. I'm founder of Purposeful Innovators. I'm a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Marketing and a PCC ICF coach. I also sit on the global board of trustees for the ICF Foundation. About the Institute. So the Institute is accredited for adult education by the Ministry of Education in Luxembourg and accredited for IAS, ISO 9001-2015, and accredited by the International Coaching Federation, levels 3 and 2. There's the International Institute for Research and Human Development, and is a professional training center headquartered in Luxembourg. It specializes in certifying continuing professional training in coaching, NLP, leadership and management, and Enneagram. Our speaker today is Dr. Costas, who is a neurologist at the National Organization of Health Provision and a private practitioner in Greece. He's the founding member and principal scientific advisor of interdisciplinary associations for applied neurosciences on cognitive and behavioural disorders in elderly people, and a consultant in service delivery and safety department, and was, a consultant at the Service Delivery and Safety Department at the World Health Organization, headquartered in Geneva. Dr. Costas is scientific lead and special advisor at the Health and Applied Neuroscience Network, a non-profit association. He's a training educator and volunteers for Action for Autism organization and the National Service of Car Accident Victims. So welcome, Dr. Costas. Thank you so much for being here again. It's your day off today, so really excited for the upcoming presentation. And I'm going to hand it over to you.
Rania, thank you so much for your words, and thank you all for another excellent and very, very important morning time, and very interesting for me, very, very happy for me, because yes, I have my day off, and I can share with you very precious information about the discipline we're going to talk today, to analyze. Thank you all for your support, and thank you all for this experience that I believe is sometimes more important and interesting regarding just having patients in a medical office. That is, of course, interesting and very important as well. But sometimes we have to talk to people, not just doing doctors. And I thank you so much to give me this, or giving me this kind of experience and sharing with you today. So today it is a bit more particular respecting Wednesday, and we talk about a discipline. We have to analyze and present a discipline that is very, very well related with working environment, and this is the human factors and ergonomics. So we have to analyze, we have to define what human factors and ergonomics are. We have then to go further to the current application and improvements that we can get applying these discipline and rules of this discipline in working place, and of course what human factors and ergonomics have to do as a collaborating role between a coach and a neurologist or another medical specialty in the workplace. Let's analyze at first what human factors are. It's a discipline, as we say here, seeks to optimize the relationship between technology and humans. You know, after the first great industrial revolution, humans, they have to affront a workplace that it was particular all the time, because it had to be like them and a machine, a device, or something that they have to collaborate with. And so they have as well to collaborate with other colleagues that they were having always a device to collaborate with. So that created a total of worker and a device. And in that case, there is a discipline that has to optimize this relationship, due to the fact that we know very well that we have had too many problems, errors, accidents in the workplace due to that. As we say here, human factors applies information about human behavior, their skills, abilities, limitations as well, other characteristics to the design of tools, devices, machines, tasks to do, and environments. The aim is to achieve more effective, productive, and safe solutions for human use. So we avoid accidents, the working environment is becoming more effective, and not only profitable, but as we can say, more human. This is actually the scope, because sometimes a working environment can be very effective, but not respecting so much human rights sometimes. And all that is related as well to collaboration between colleagues, between people in a team. And if we don't go forward to resolve problems on this matter, of course, we have issues regarding then collaboration between colleagues, conflicts, accidents, and in general, we're going to be not effective and humans as we have to. Maybe we can say in another word what human factor is. We can define it as any physical or any cognitive property that is specific to anyone, any worker, to any individual. For the moment, we talk individual, or any behavior specific to him, to her, that may influence the functioning of mechanical and technological systems, and of course, to influence the functioning of a whole work team. We go further a bit to talk thereafter about human factor engineering and ergonomics, and we're going to analyze what it is, based solely on the relationship between the worker and this device for a moment, and then we go further to talk about work teams. It's a discipline that can contain many other disciplines as well, like anthropology, physiology, kinesiology, psychology, sociology, medical science, engineering as well. So in that case, if we can move forward, please. I have to analyze a bit that, to tell you that, and you know very well, we are human beings, we are in a working environment, and of course, the first thing that we have to plan before people will be chosen and pass from HR is the working place itself. And we have to understand that we have people that are going to be inside this working place. We have humans that they have to interact with elements of this working place. Humans that they have their 5 senses. They can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. So we need to understand that they have at first to, as we say here, to distinguish, to detect, to discern, and to differentiate elements in a working place. I insist we talk about an individual for the moment, not for the team. Sometimes we have some issues of misperception, and in that case, we can have some medical matters, or we can have some poor concentration or attention issues. For that, in that case, we need to plan before to create the workplace. We need to plan it very well regarding their physical skills, and as we will analyze the physical ergonomics. But they're humans in the workplace. They are just not only physical elements to take in consideration, there are cognitive skills as well. We have a mind, and we use it during work. A mind that can perceive, for example, visual stimuli or auditory ones. A mind that has to pay attention in particular things, to focus, for example, to sustain, to have a sustained attention. You have always to be there, and to be able to have attention to both places sometimes, and to capture information and to proceed for further improvement. Memory, you can understand very well, is an element of a particular interest that we have short-term, long-term visual memory, auditory memory, and then connected all the time with our emotional part. And of course, anxiety and stress, as we analyzed last time, can influence memory matters. And of course, what we say as logical reasoning. That means to be able to have a deductive reasoning, for example, that requires to have a particular conclusion from a particular information, or inductive, to be able to connect and to observe and figure out relations around of a subject in an abstract mode. So cognitive skills and physical skills are very important for every one of us if we need to be part of a working place. For who is going to plan, to construct, to organize this place, so this working place can receive us, and we can choose who is going to be received so as to fit exactly to what we constructed, to a working place that fit absolutely to all these humans that are going to create a team. And here we're talking about the organizational skills. It's not only a matter to have a physical skill, to have a cognitive one, to be chosen from someone that knows very well that you fit on this working place. But who is going to organize this place has to have organizational skills as well, to know exactly who's going to be part of this team, to know very well where this team is going to act, with who are the teams for the moment, what kind of devices they're going to use, and what kind of methods they're going to use with their devices, and between them to create an effective environment. I have to analyze a bit now. What about is ergonomics? If we can move a bit forward, please. So, human factors and ergonomics. Why we say these terms together is a discipline. It is called like that. We move now to ergonomics to say that what is ergonomics? It's a science that does what? It's a science that is fitting jobs to people, encompasses the body of knowledge about physical abilities, cognitive ones, organizational ones, limitations as well as other human characteristics relevant to the job design. So that means I can put this team to this job design, to this working place. So that means because I use the term design because it's relevant as well, I have to do an ergonomic design of the working place. And the application of this body of knowledge to the design of the working place is for the safe and efficiency, and of course of improve and transform this place in something extremely efficient if this is possible. But as you can understand, we have to plan move by move, man by man, woman by woman, people by people, working team by working team, step by step, using all these elements that human factors and ergonomics provide. We'll talk about physical ergonomics, and no, we stay, please. We stay to ergonomics. We provide physical ergonomics. That means we provide the information about human anatomical, anthropometric, that means parameters for our body, physiological, biomechanical characteristics, but that they have to relate with the physical activity in the workplace. That needs to have elements by our health, working postures, handling materials, the repetitive movements that sometimes they create enormous problems on muscle pain, and pain is a very big problem to working place, can induce as well to behavior issues, anxiety and stress, as we said last time, mainly stress. So work-related musculoskeletal disorders and all that situation of physical ergonomics is another science that, for example, can design your working chair that you're sitting in home, a chair, an office, a bureau, a window, or whatever. Passing to the cognitive ergonomics, here we consider human cognitive abilities and cognitive limitation while working. Let's say that mental processes such as perception, attention, memory, reasoning, decision-making, learning responses are considered as they affect interactions among humans, and we know very well that. So for the moment, we have the physical and the cognitive characteristics of the human being that create the whole ergonomic situation of an individual. And as we said before about the physical skills, here we have a mental workload, for example, a decision-making process, the interaction with the device, for example, the computer, the work stress load, WSL, if we proceed and after in the future with educational courses, you're going to have this term very frequently. Physical training that can help mental abilities as well. The education of the individual that goes to the working environment. Fatigue sometimes can come to create issues in mental processing. So physical and cognitive skills, physical and cognitive elements are very important for the individual. And we go further to social and organizational ergonomics. We talk about mostly a situation that considers the structure, the policies. We go further now. This is not the individual only, this is the working team. So structures, policies, processes of any organization. The goal of this, the goal of organizational ergonomics is to achieve a harmonized environment, a harmonized system, taking into consideration the consequences of technology, from one hand, of human relationship, from the other hand, and processes and policies from the other. Several pillars on that. So here we talk about teamwork, communication, crew resource management, HR, design of working times, planning. There is a fourth element of ergonomics. This is the neuroergonomics. Well, I'm not going to go further on that because it doesn't have to do with us. It's very scientific regarding neuroscience and how we intervene to the working environment to improve all that. So, if we go further, very important. So, all these elements regarding human factors and ergonomics, so as they do an ensemble, as we say, so they involve the individual, the teams, the organization, and of course the elements of the workplace to avoid conflicts, to avoid accidents, to avoid misunderstandings, to try to create an environment that humans, even if anxious or stressed, they can have an environment and relations with colleagues that tries to avoid, let's say, the tries to avoid issues coming from their anxiety or their everyday life as well. So if we go to the next one, please. Just to say that improving, but talking about human factors in engineering, improving these elements of human factors in the workplace has steps. And of course, I just wanted to show you with this slide that we have, let's say, some particular steps before going to 5 and say leading. And with red, you can see the proactive step. So we go for the emerging. That means that things that happens and we have to to evaluate them. We go then to the transitional period, evaluation and improving. Plan, we go just to, we are capable now to do plans, to plan it, and then we go to the practice situation. That means we are already on simulating how to lead, and then we lead. It is not just a discipline, it's a whole world behind the working place. And I wanted to say that is we have to introduce it to everybody, because everybody needs to know what human factors and ergonomics are, and to try to understand that he or she is part of this world as well. If we go further, please. Just to thank you. And why I said that, because I believe that I talk too much, and I believe it's better to proceed for a grateful and efficient discussion and answer questions with pleasure. Rania.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kostas. I actually have a question for you. Just to, again, because a lot of the sensory modalities and the logical levels in NLP provides us with a coaching model that we can apply to improve the workplace. However, if our brains are as individual as our fingerprints, is it possible to create and design a workplace that caters for all of the different preferences in our sensory preferences, so that we can all be comfortable? And I want to give you a particular example. I had a client who was very, very auditory, who worked in an environment that was very noisy. And primarily there was conflict between different departments wanting to play the radio really, really loudly, that actually created a huge amount of anxiety in him, because he was, like you said, with the distractions and lack of attention. So how can we please everybody in the workplace, and what's the role of coaches within that criteria?
Excellent question. And I have to say that this is a question that provokes a bit the system. Why? And thank you for that. You know, of course, we have the possibility to plan a working place, to create it very well, using all the elements that we do have for different behavioral aspects, different profiles. It is called AI. But you know, when we talk AI today, artificial intelligence, we just dream of science fiction. We believe that we do just robots. No. For example, there are, of course, studies that they talk about how to simulate problems in the working place and put elements in a software that can, let's say, receive, understand, and have a good output regarding of solutions before to construct a working place. And of course, involves HR people and coaches, because they have to be involved on that to see the simulations, to see the problems that can be created, and to have already a plan of solution ready to another software that will be instructive for them. It is not science fiction. We do it today. They imply, of course, scientists. They imply, of course, people, workers, as examples, elements in the software, coaches, everyone. But the problem is that for the moment, they use it mostly to create an efficient environment, to convince you that everything is going well. To put the point, to accuse some elements of you, not a bad system, it's you, the problem, but don't worry about, we have a solution for you. This is a great debate between scientists and humanists and the dark side of the moon, as I can say it, the force, as we say it. Yes, this is true. Example, I I had to see people that they are top level professors regarding oil rigs. And of course, human factor issues, excellent experts regarding that. I've never seen a concrete study from them, even if they are professors on that matter. Why? I don't know, because probably we talk about softwares, we talk about programs that they are not so allowed to be seen by every one of us. This is true. That's why it is difficult to affront the situation of artificial intelligence softwares and as I said before, people that can create elements that you can put in and you have a good output. Because for the moment, there is a problem between, let's say, scientific people and humanists against a system that doesn't care actually for your health. I'm a bit acid today. It's Saturday.
Saturday morning.
Yes, I'm an acid neurologist. I'm a bad guy.
Wendy, Mario, and Ronnie, what do you have to add? Go ahead, Mario.
Okay. But the other side of the matter is how the coach can be involved in such a process. I absolutely agree with Kostas that it's mandatory today to put the finger on that kind of tasks in the work environment. There is maybe a strategy is to make the industry understand that doing it is very expensive, and doing it's a good pathway to the performance, because if your collaborators are happy and healthy, they work better, they work in a better way, they have better relationship, they get into communion of relationship on the work, in the working frame, the working place, the working reality. So I think that the major break in this kind of questions is that the industry says that it's too expensive to do. So we already have a place to work, and it's good. Look, but if a neurologist, let's go like Kostas, get into such a room, he can say, everything's wrong here, because the light is wrong, because the smell is wrong, because the color of the walls is wrong, because your machines are located in strange situation, strange position. So the resistance is to say that it's too expensive. So maybe as coaches, we can question this conviction, this belief, and make the people understand that make it in another way, make it a new way, make it in a more human way, can be a real improvement also in economic logic. So put together the intentions of the industry, I mean, make money, and the interest of the human being, because we're not robots. And at the moment, people are working in working places, and so maybe it's important and clever to take care of these human beings in the working place and take care of the communion of relationships. And it could be a good pathway for the best performance.
Mario, can I add something on what you're saying?
Of course.
Okay, I'm going to say the same. I'm going to say the same thing I said before in another way, connecting what with what you've been saying. So I'm going to say the same thing with other words. We have to wake up because the coach is very important to life and not the psychologist. We have to wake up because we doctors, we see what is happening and we do nothing. We have to wake up because the employees or the employers sometimes as well, they got issues not resolved by a psychologist. There has to be a coach there. We believe that, we know that, we send that, we know what is happening. So, expensive or not, even an MRI to the brain is very expensive. But for the moment, the insurance pays. If we don't do an effort to make them understand that if an employee doesn't have a coach, because it's so much important as a basketball player or a football player, that they're so much connected to their coaches and we know them and they're famous. Oh, he's doing an excellent job with the team. Why we don't have anyone known, famous in the working place as well? And they send all people to go see psychologists, saying that it's their fault.
Yeah, it's right. I totally agree.
We have to keep in mind that.
Yeah,
Your
I agree
role is
totally.
Very important. Very important.
Yeah, I totally agree. A chapter of my book is about transferring the know-how from mental coaching or high performance athletes to the corporates and the organization. Why a sportsman deserves a coach, a personal mental coach, and not a collaborator in a working place, because the goal is the same, to do it better, so, and to win in such case.
Yes.
I totally agree with you, Kostas. There is a culture problem about it, And I was thinking also something that we discussed yesterday in yesterday's seminar, that was how to showcase the situation with coaching without coaching. The coach has a role to play in this situation, making understand the organization that is real important to have healthy people working for them, So I think that the next step for coaching an organization, but I'm convinced, and Kostas knows it because we work together, that the next step is to work together with neurologists, work together with doctors, to build this new culture of a supporting team, coaches, doctors, in the working place, to make the working place a positive experience for everybody. And maybe now is not. And Kostas told us on Wednesday that 50% of his patients go to his office about stress and anxiety problems due to the working place. So it's terrific. It's a nightmare. It's just a nightmare. So I think we can be more involved in that kind of thinking, a new way to interact with the organizations, the industry.
Thank you, Mario. Lena, have we answered you said that this is what you'd like to share in your hands up. Have we answered your comment?
Yeah, I'd like to share my experience in 2 different working places and how it affects me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm living in Jeddah, in Kingdom, Saudi Arabia. So I'm a physical therapist, and my practice, it was with children with disability, mental plus physical. So the center that I used, the first place that I worked in, it was that center. It's a rehabilitation center. And actually, the family who built the center, they brought an engineer from Germany to do the building. The building, it's amazing. It has a big dome in the entrance, but then it starts to be like an octopus, like wings. And each wings divided into 5 or 6, I can't remember exactly, places or offices, plus classes for the kids and offices. Each class, it's like triangular, and it's all over windows. So the sunshine, it was there all over the day, because they study the psychology of the kids and the employee who are working in that environment and that working place, with the difficulties and the challenges that they are facing with the kids as a multidisciplinary team. So, and teachers, we have teachers, we have special ed teachers, special physical therapists, special educators, we have speech therapists, psychologists, and psychiatric and social workers. Computer labs, whatever. So they ensure command, to have a lot of plants inside the center. So actually, when we have a coffee break, our break area, it's facing the big terrace and a huge amount of plants. So it was the relaxation zone that we go out from our offices or our sessions out to that area. Having a lot of outside doors areas for kids to play, and for the employees as well to sit, for the smokers to smoke if they want. And for me, I was like sometimes taking my team as a coordinator of the department, getting our lunch outside, like it's a picnic. We have our rags and whatever, and we sat. So I've been able to manage to stay for 13 years in that place.
Wow.
Plus, I can give them credit because we have a lot of long weekend. Whenever they see that we are stressed, they felt that we are stressed, they give us a long weekend, and they apologize. They send letters for the parent that we have a maintenance issues in the center and we need to fix it. So this was amazing, Saraha. And actually, the average of anyone to stay there, it's between 5 to 7 years, which is okay. And really, it's a good place. And it is attracting because of the environment, attracting people to come always to ask to be a volunteers or whatever. And actually, they attracted even the other centers who are interested in the same field, to come and to copy. And they were very generous to let them copy the building structure if they are able to. Definitely, we are talking about a very wealthy family that they are providing this. So then I decided, because I reached my ceiling there, so there is no competition, nothing. So I had to change my workplace. So I studied management, and I went to a co-working space, which is very famous here in Jeddah and very successful. Very nice, luxurious style, leather everywhere, brown and Havan color, these black, this style of black and browny colors. Actually, I couldn't stay there for more than 6 months. I couldn't, because there is no sunshine, enough sunshine. There is a music all over the place, which I didn't like, because I'd like to focus. So socially, it was the best environment, because you can conduct business with different aspects, but as a working place, I felt always sleepy, because I'm a very morning person. I like sun to be all over the world. And whenever it comes like 5 or 6 o'clock and the sun starts to say bye-bye to us, so I start to feel that it's my bedtime, I have to relax, I have to dim lights. So this affects Saraha, my working style and my working achievements, Saraha. So I totally understand how expensive it should be, and how important to invest in the buildings, صراحة.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you, Lena.
You're
That's a really
welcome.
interesting
Yeah.
contrast between
Yeah.
the two examples.
May I ask you
Yeah, تفضل. Yes, go ahead, please.
that in the first place you've been so excited to work there? Do they need neurologists there? Do you know that?
Sorry? Would you repeat
Do
that?
they have neurologists there? Because I'm applying.
At the first company
No, but
that you were explaining. Sounds amazing.
They used to bring a psychiatry to a volunteer psychiatry to the staff. Yes, to have a sessions with him if we need it.
Yeah,
No.
fantastic attitude.
All of you can share. You can Google it. It's the help center. I will put the name of it in the chat box.
Thank you very much, Lena.
You're welcome.
I have a quick question, Dr. Costas, from Marianne. Could you provide any examples of software or surveys that can help understand how to make the most healthy work environment for a particular team?
Yeah, of course, but I cannot describe it now. Of course, is under intelligent properties. There is no example of that. This is scientific particular department that they do so, but I don't know if people they know that we do have softwares that we can have input, and then they can analyze and they can give an output. And sometimes we're talking about softwares that they use AI, artificial intelligence. But giving examples of how to do that is technical. I can describe it because I'm involved as well. I don't believe if you do have 2 hours, I can do that. But it's easy. Let's say we're not here today to describe that. We are here to do we have the concept having, for example, a simulator in a computer that can simulate that can use information that we give as an input, and it gives an output. We use it all over the place, not only for human factors. It is a bit particular then and technical to try to say, for example, okay, we have to specify, for example, what kind of example, a hospital, what kind of staff, age of staff, experience of staff, personal profile of staff, physical elements of this building, what kind of elements from the architecture, is that the way they used to do? And there's more, of course, we can talk for up to tonight for that, but it's going to be long. But this is the mentality of, this is the case, what they do. Examples, too many, another time.
Thank you very much. We have, if I may move on to Jen's question. She's curious about how things have been changing over time. In your career, Dr. Costas, have you seen percentage of patients with stress and anxiety increase over the years, or is 60% a steady figure? So is it going up or down?
No, always up. It is always up. Down, we're kidding. Always up. And then after the I believe from what we studied after the World War II, it's always up. It has created medical issues. Dementia and Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, neurological issues. Oh, guys, it is going always up. Never down, never. Have you ever seen television changings in that late 50 years for the better? No. Crimes, killings, wars. So why should we have better anxiety cases? No, of course not. We live in a society that tries to raise up always our anxiety. That's for sure. And of course, what happens in a medical office is always worse and worse.
No, Rania, please, I would like to answer to the second part of the message of Jen about the matter we have more coaches, more support, and what's going on with this pandemic. Yeah, but we arrive to the working place in many cases. We the coaches arrive into the working places too late. So it's like you call a coach for a rugby team. I'm from rugby, so in rugby team, at the end of the season, when it did lost all the matches, all the players are injured, and you call a new coach to support this team. It's impossible, too late. So it has to be from the beginning in a structural way, as Kostas told during the seminar, as a structural action into the organization, a real structure, supporting from the beginning, from the start to the improvement of the process, because too late is too late. And if very often we go to the organization, we get into the organization when it's too late. So we can help, yes, of course, and we do. But in many cases, it's too late. So why don't start with a structure of a coaching team with doctors, with coaches, helping the organization to make something good, like Lina told us in some minutes ago.
Thanks, Mario. Veronique, is there anything more you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd like to add, something. And I'm working in an association in Geneva. And it's true that, they decided the management, to change, the way of managing, the association. They started, with a coach. They asked, for a coach, because they told me, if we want to change something, we need to be coached first, and then maybe we can ask for a change. So this was very interesting. And me as a coach, I follow people, but now I can see that quite a lot of my colleagues come to me and ask me for session. They don't want to go to see, their boss or the manager, to speak about their problem. They come to me because they know that I'm coach. So, this is very interesting. And it's true that we should have, more probably, coach in companies, because for me, it's a bit weird because I'm colleague, but in the same time, I'm coaching them. So sometimes, my ethics, it's a bit, I'm talking to myself, actually, shall I do, shall I not do? But in the same time, I know that, I bring to them a lot. So it's one thing. And the second thing, we are moving, with the association to another building. So they send us, survey, what we want to have, wood, glasses, or everything. So we receive a huge survey and we answered, and we'll see, what it come up with our new, building and environment. So this was interesting, because they ask us advice. So we'll see.
So Veronique, that brings us back to the listening that we were talking about yesterday, and the importance of listening, both as an organization and as a coach, and to really hear everyone's preferences and thoughts. So I would just like to pause and just thank everybody for joining us today. We're on the hour now. We will be announcing some more future webinars, so keep an eye on your inbox. I'll be sharing this recording with the slides for all of our events that we've done this week. I just want to say a really heartwarm thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you to the team for contributions and chats and dialogues. We're going to stay on for a few more minutes and carry on the conversation, so you're welcome to stay. And obviously, if you've got anything else planned as well, please feel free to go. But thank you very much, everybody. And yes, back to the team. Wendy, I'm not sure if you are able to speak because you mentioned that you had some noise going on in the background, but I'd be interesting to hear your view today.
She's not there.
She's not able to. So, Dr. Kostas, what do you think the future, with the skill set of us as coaches, what do you think the future should look like, where you have a collaboration between the coach, the neurologist, and the organization?
Rania, we design the future. Right now, we do so. If we couldn't have the opportunity to do what we do today, we could be not so responsible for what will happen, because, you know, from the other side, there is a full environment that they don't care about people and humans. So what we have to do is what we started doing. That means organizing the future, try to understand and pass the word to everyone that coach and neurologists, or maybe coach and doctors and science and HR people and all of you, we have to do as one and to proceed. So to be activists for that case and to try to convince that there is no future for the workplace if we proceed like that. If instead of having efficient workplaces, we create absenteeism and queues of patients outside a neurological office. So I believe that if we start doing something like that, organizing, planning the future, presenting, educating, organizing educational courses, doing what we have to do to pass the word that this is something happening, and we do have big problems in the workplace. We are good activists. This is not only nature. So I respect, for example, the Greenpeace, but I believe that we need mental peace and work peace as well. So if they do so, we can do so.
Agree. Veronique, where would a coach start at work to be able to change the way, change the status quo and the old ways of thinking to start designing that future? What would your advice be to our coaches?
This is a good question. I can just, speak about myself. It's to listen to people, and in the same time, let them know that we have, the competency, to coach people. Because some people, I think we are all, somewhere, coach at first. We don't really need to have, to develop so many competency if we understand what are the competency as human being. So for me, it should start, with the listening, but then, if we talk, more, as coach myself, is to let them know it's what I did, within, my work, that, I have the competency, and we need to have more coaches, inside enterprises. And I think this would help, probably.
Thank you.
But we have to introduce them. So we need Mario as well, somewhere in companies, you and Wendy, and, we have to let, know the world that, coaching is something, very important in companies. But it's true that it's a cost. It's a cost.
Yeah, it's why I was talking about the importance to make the organizations understand that there is a cost, but that cost is very cheap considering the consequences. So that's maybe the more difficult point, to the problem to solve in some working environment, because the old stories are strong, they resist, and in many cases, it's difficult to make understand that the world is changing. And it's a philosophical question, because nature, world, universe is changing at each moment totally, and it doesn't stop to change. But we, the human being, we like to conserve. We are conservative, so we like to conserve the good old story. And the good old story is the past, and the past doesn't exist no more. So we get into a philosophical question with economic and health consequences. So for example, a part of my job now, when I work for 2 or 3 multinational companies, and as a coach, as an external coach. So they call me to coach managers, to coach collaborators, to coach the member of the leadership teams. So I know practically all the levels on the organizations here in Switzerland. And I observed that there is two, generally, globally, two kind of needs. One is to call a coach as a magician with a magic formula to solve all the problem in a short while to make more money. And in my experience, is a minority. And the other one is to open a new way to think about work, how to work. And for the second kind of organization, I think that what Costa said today or Wednesday, what Veronique said about the governance problem in an organization, to change the philosophy of governance, the philosophy of how to support collaborators, managers, deciders in an organization, that's a new art, the art of coaching. It's a new one. And even if we can celebrate 25 years, I think, maybe I'm not right, but 25 years of ICF, and we're proud to do it, but it's a new art. And if I look at Costas, for example, medicine has 2,500 years of experience in the Western world and more in the Eastern one. And so we have just 25 years. We're young, and we can grow up, and we must. So it's interesting to start to think also in a philosophical way, because in my education, I have the chance to know a little bit Socrates and Platon. And so I think that it's important to think about ourselves as coaches. Gnotis eauton. I'm not Greek, but I think Costas can translate it. Gnotis eauton. Gnotis eauton. Connais-toi toi-même.
Gnosis eauton. Wow. Yes, to know ourselves.
To know ourselves is the best way to or like Gandhi says, if you want to change the world, change yourself. And we can do it as coaches in our daily, in our work.
May I add something on that, please?
Yes.
Because I fully agree, and Veronique said it at first. The first thing that Veronique said, I'm listening. You know what is the enemy of the medical world today? The enemy. Listening. They don't do that. They don't do that. They just want to capture 2, 3 words, just then to give paracetamol. That's it. I provoke the system to respond me back, to answer me back that I'm wrong. Provocation direct. This is the enemy of the medical world. So do not accept on, I am with you. but from the medical part, because then the problem is from the workplace, we have queues in our medical offices, but the problem continues. In our medical offices, they are not, let's say, received well. They are not listened. Nobody listens to the problems. So they come there and they just get a pill and bye-bye. The problem continues. So this is why we're activists, because we have to see the deficit all over the place, not only in the working place, out of it, because you have to go to your doctor. I'm not paying for your doctor. I have a doctor, let's say the walk doctor that I have there, but I don't believe that I don't believe they're useful these days. So you have to go out, you have to pay by yourself, or your insurance, they have to pay for your psychological, or for your psychologist or your psychiatrist, your neurologist. And then as soon as they are there, nothing at all, pills and talks for nothing. That's why I said before, they need a coach, not a psychologist. So apart that, doctors, they don't listen. So then you become a bit coach as well. In my office, I believe I'm not doing only the neurologist, of course. That's why that costs some time. But me, for example, I'm full, maybe. I don't bother if it took time and I'm not invoicing. No problem for me, because, okay, I don't know why. Because I believe that when we become doctors to heal, not to invoice. That's the truth, guys.
I think, Dr. Costas, though, I think this is, it's not just from the medical side. I mean, I've been referred potential clients that want medicine. They don't believe in coaching and they're not open to being coached because they want the magic pill rather than be addressing internal conflict.
Yeah, and it's true that you can always choose between the blue one and the red one. You can choose the blue pill of the red one, and see the reality in another way. I was thinking also that there is a meta belief in the working universe that the belief is no pain, no gain. So you have to struggle to deserve something, but it's not true. It's just not true. Because if you're happy, you win because you're happy. Struggling can be good in a short period because it's urgent and you have to face an emergency. But you can struggle the whole life to deserve something because it's not true. It's just a lie. So that is another very simple point. Is it necessary to struggle to realize something? And I think not. It's not necessary. I'm convinced it's not. And I come from one of the hardest game in sport, rugby. So, but we can be happy on a rugby field, even if it's hard. As I say, I used to accompany sportsmen and sportwomen as a mental coach. I say 100 kilos is 100 kilos, and it doesn't change, never. But you can approach the exercise struggling or not. It depends on the goal, it depends on the effects, the goal, the realized goal. So pain is not necessary, and it's important to understand it. Because it's not necessary.
Pain, no doctor. No pain, no doctor. Gain
no pain, no doctor, but doctor can be
that's
like a coach, like a health coach.
And but I think there's a philosophical challenge here, because in Buddhism it's the attachment to suffering that we experience that we need to be overcoming in our perception of the world. So again, it goes back to this whole misperception of understanding ourselves and our existence as humans.
Yeah.
But if no pain, no doctor is okay. No, the game is coming in after. You see, for the moment, pain, doctor, coach. Yeah. We have to be together there. Because
Yeah.
for the moment, pain, doctor, nothing, pill, secondary effects, side effects, and all that stuff. Then other doctor as well, because we have the side effect of the first doctor. And it goes on, guys. And you go to the workplace. So what did you say? I have to take a pill. And then the pill had side effects. So I got to the psychiatrist then. And then I'm dull today. This is the truth. This is the damn truth. Hello. Good morning to everyone. This is our planet.
Welcome to reality.
Yes.
And on that note, sorry, Veronique, did you have anything more?
Yeah, because, it is interesting and we could, discuss about this, for hours. But, at work, we have, sent two people, to have coaching. And in the end, it doesn't mean that the coach was not good. I'm not talking about that. But in the end, the person, went to see a medical doctor, neurologist, and he came back, with, a medical certificate. So me, I'm questioning, myself and even people, because we pay for them, but in the end, they left, or we fired them because there were no, step ahead. So, coaching within, companies are not, there yet at all. For me, this is my opinion. We need more, maybe, years before, we have, coaches in companies and trying not to call, Costas, Dr. Costas, every week. This was my... No?
I think you're right, Veronique, and I think that that opens a whole new topic about who specifies coaching in companies, for what purpose is coaching delivered, and again back to our discussions we had yesterday over proving coaching through finance rather than the social impact of coaching and the benefits to the community and the people. Thank you so much, Dr. Costas, and thank you to the team, Wendy, Veronique and Mario, for today. Thank you to our audience once again. Thank you for staying on for the after party this morning, after coffee.
Special thanks to Wendy, please.
Special thanks to Wendy. She's had some building work, I think, come up in the background, which is why she hasn't been able to take off her.
Don't forget our Georgios, please.
Yeah.
And thank you to Georgios. He's here in spirit today. He's in training. Yeah.
Thank you to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
The dream team.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.